An alarm rings at 5:45 a.m. in a quiet suburb outside Melbourne. Mark is 52 years old. He works as an associate manager at a local logistics warehouse, earning $72,000 a year. His wife, Elena, works part-time in administration after taking 11 years out of the workforce to raise their 3 children, bringing home $28,000 a year. Mark sits on the edge of his bed, staring at a laptop screen. The room is pitch black, except for the cold, blue glow of his superannuation dashboard. The number sitting in the middle of that screen reads $180,000. Combined with Elena's $100,000 balance, they hold $280,000. He calculates his age. He looks at his mortgage statement, $210,000 still owing. Then he looks back at the super balance. Mark started his working life on the tools, earning considerably less, and his early super balances sat in a high-fee retail fund for most of his 30s. By the time he understood the system, the compounding years were already behind him. For 30 years, he assumed the system would take care of itself. Every payslip showed a little percentage sliding away into the background, working quietly behind the scenes. He never checked the fees. He never changed the default investment option. He just assumed that in Australia, if you show up and work hard, the destination is taken care of. But as the cost of groceries, power bills, and rates keep creeping upward, a cold realization sets in. He isn't alone. Across Australia, millions of people are waking up to the exact same math problem. We are told we live in a country with one of the world's premier retirement safety nets, a multi-trillion-dollar superannuation machine built to guarantee a comfortable final act. Yet, ask 5 different financial experts how much money you actually need to stop working, and you'll get 5 completely different answers. So what is the real price of freedom in Australia? By the time you finish watching this video, we aren't just going to look at the official target figures. We're going to run the exact math, dollar for dollar, to see how Mark, and anyone else staring down a shortfall, can realistically bridge a 6-figure gap before it's too late. To find out where you stand, you have to look past the bank brochures and strip away the grand promises. The peak body for superannuation updates official benchmarks every quarter. According to published ASFA data, a single person needs roughly $595,000 in super by age 67 to live what they call a comfortable retirement. For a couple, that target jumps to approximately $690,000. Those numbers sound reasonable on paper. They account for private health insurance, an occasional domestic holiday, replacing household appliances when they break, and keeping the heater running through winter without breaking into a sweat when the bill arrives. But there is a giant, quiet assumption baked into every single one of those calculations. It assumes you own your home outright. No mortgage, no rent, just 4 walls that belong entirely to you. Take that one detail away, and the math breaks instantly. If Mark and Elena reach age 67 still paying rent or carrying a major mortgage in a capital city, that target doesn't buy security anymore. It turns into a ticking clock. Rental yields rise, leases end, and suddenly a massive chunk of a fixed income vanishes into housing costs before you've even bought groceries. Now look at where the average Australian actually stands. The average super balance for someone approaching retirement, between the ages of 60 and 64, hovers nowhere near those ideal benchmarks. While average figures are skewed by ultra-wealthy outliers, the median balance, the true middle point where half the population sits below, presents a stark reality. For men aged 60 to 64, the median balance sits closer to $211,000. For women, due to career breaks, caregiving, and pay gaps, that median drops to roughly $158,000. That gap between the baseline target and financial reality creates a quiet, persistent anxiety. Take Mark and Elena. They hold $280,000 combined at age 52. If they do nothing new, relying on standard compounding at a 7% nominal return plus mandatory 11.5% employer SGC contributions on Mark's $72,000 income and Elena's $28,000 part-time income, their nest egg is on track to reach approximately $1,080,000 in nominal dollars by age 67. At a standard 3% inflation rate over 15 years, that $1.08 million in 2041 carries the real purchasing power of roughly $693,000 in today's dollars. That puts them almost exactly at ASFA's $690,000 couple benchmark, arriving at the minimum floor with essentially nothing left in reserve. No buffer for a market downturn in the years before retirement. No room for unexpected health costs, a roof replacement, or the kind of one-off bill that derails a fixed income. Meeting the floor is not the same as having security. It's arriving at the edge of a cliff with an empty tank. And that benchmark still assumes they own their home outright by 67, something the $210,000 mortgage balance makes a live question. They don't want luxury sports cars or 6-month European cruises. They just want peace of mind. When they sit down with a calculator, they discover that drawing down $50,000 a year from a pool sitting right at the ASFA minimum means their private savings fund them for roughly 14 years before they become entirely dependent on the age pension. That takes them to age 81, not an unreasonable retirement endpoint in past generations, but well short of current average life expectancy and virtually no margin for living longer. The age pension in Australia isn't meant to fund a comfortable lifestyle. It was designed as a baseline safety net, a floor to keep people out of absolute poverty. For a single retiree, the full pension pays roughly $31,000 a year. For a couple, it's around $46,800 combined. Try mapping that annual income against modern electricity rates, council charges, private health premiums, and the price of fresh food. This is where the psychological shift happens. For 40 years of your working life, your balance sheet grows. You save, you invest, you build. Then, overnight, you stop working, and the direction reverses. Every dollar spent feels like a dollar that is never coming back. People react to this in two very different ways. Some cut their expenses down to the bone out of fear. They live far below their means, hoarding their superannuation because they are terrified of running out of money in their 80s. Others go the opposite direction. They see a lump sum sitting in their account, $300,000 or $400,000, and it feels like more money than they've ever seen at once. They clear the remaining mortgage, upgrade the car, and take a dream holiday. Within 5 years, half the nest egg is gone, and the remaining decades are funded strictly by Centrelink. Neither scenario is a failure of character. They are responses to a system that asks everyday workers to become expert financial planners late in life. So how do you move from arriving at the edge of the cliff to standing well clear of it? It doesn't require high-risk stock picking or winning the lottery. It comes down to understanding the exact mechanics of concessions and compounding growth before time runs out. Let's look at Mark's exact numbers. At 52, Mark earns $72,000 a year before tax. His marginal tax rate falls in the 32.5% bracket, which becomes 34.5% when you include the 2% Medicare levy. If Mark decides to salary sacrifice $100 per week, about $14 a day, into his superannuation, that money is taxed at the concessional super rate of 15% instead of his 34.5% marginal tax rate. That single move costs his take-home pay exactly $65.50 a week, but $85 goes directly into his investment portfolio every 7 days. Over 15 years, from age 52 to 67, assuming a standard 7% nominal investment return inside super, that $100 a week pre-tax contribution adds approximately $117,000 to his final balance. If Elena matches that $100 a week commitment from her earnings, their combined salary sacrifice adds $234,000 to their nominal balance. That single adjustment pushes their projected nominal trajectory from $1,080,000 up to $1,314,000. The second lever is changing the structure of the transition itself. The traditional idea of working full-time until 67 and suddenly stopping dead in your tracks is disappearing. More Australians are utilizing a phased transition, dropping to 3 or 4 days a week between ages 65 and 69, or taking on lower-stress consultation work. Working just 2 extra years, while drawing a partial income, does 2 critical things at once. First, it prevents you from drawing down on your capital early. Second, it gives your existing balance 2 additional years to compound untouched. On Mark and Elena's portfolio passing $1,314,000, 2 extra years of 7% compound growth adds approximately $190,000 in nominal returns without requiring a single extra dollar out of pocket. When you add Strategy A and Strategy B together, Mark and Elena's total portfolio reaches $1,504,000 in nominal dollars. Discounted for 3% inflation over the full 17-year horizon to age 69, that represents roughly $910,000 in today's purchasing power, giving them a 31% margin above ASFA's $690,000 baseline target and genuine insulation against the unexpected costs that derail retirement plans built with no reserve. The exact amount you need to retire in Australia isn't a single universal number written on a policy document. It depends on whether you own the roof over your head. It depends on whether you choose a hard stop or a phased transition, and how you define a good life once the morning commute stops. The system provides the framework, but the numbers only make sense when you take control of the variables.
Mark didn't need $1 million in today's money to fix his future. He needed a clear strategy, 15 years of consistent small adjustments, and a realistic look at the math. Tonight, take 20 minutes to log into your MyGov portal and check your current super balance against the benchmark for your age bracket. If there's a gap, remember that a small adjustment made at 40 or 50 is far more powerful than a drastic measure forced upon you at 67. Leave a comment below with one exact number. What does your super balance say right now versus where you thought it would be at your age? If this breakdown brought clarity to your plan, hit the subscribe button and let us know what story you'd like us to map out next. Because at the end of the day, retirement isn't about hitting a single universal number. It's about securing enough control over your time that you never have to sit in the dark at 5:45 a.m. wondering if you're going to be okay.